what's up? I'm Yanina Oyarzo, and today I'm going to be doing a quick makeup look using the new Naked Urban Decay palette that is called Honey. And you guys can hate me for this, but when I saw it, the first thing I thought of was my nail lady saying, "Honey, use this and you get a boyfriend." So that's what we're gonna do to get a boyfriend at the end of this look, because your girl needs one. So alright, the first thing we're gonna do is I already put on my base and I did my eyebrows. I did my eyebrows with the e.l.f. Eyebrow pencil. My foundation that I have on right now is the Urban Decay Naked, the Stay Naked, the new foundation, and it's mixing colors 51 warm and 50 warm. So I'm gonna start with my eyes. I'm gonna start with Flyby, which is like their neutral color, and I'm just gonna put it on my lid to start some sort of color going in there, and it's very white. Now I'm also gonna tell you 10 facts about me, 10 random facts. So as we go, I'm just gonna start saying random things. I'm going over it now with Sweet to just calm down the whiteness of it. The first fact I'll tell you is I am originally from Venezuela. For those that don't know me, if this is the first time watching me, listening to me, whatever it is, I'm from Venezuela, which is in South America, next to Colombia. A lot of people, when I moved to California, were like, "Are you Middle Eastern? What's your ethnicity?" When I'm in Miami, people usually can catch on because there's so many Venezuelans there. But yeah, I'm Venezuelan. And what else? Another fun fact about me is I recently got burned on set, but that's not the fun fact. The fun fact is that I got burned when I was a teenager in my arm right here. I was getting ready for a dance performance and I was ironing a pair of pants, and I pulled the pants and the whole iron just like basically fell on me. The entire iron had like the holes. I had blisters, and with time it shrunk because I was very careful with like putting aloe and all that stuff on it. So that happened to me. I remember dancing that night. It was so much pain. I had like circle blisters all over my arm. Third fact about me is I have 5 tattoos. A lot of people don't know that, and they're like, "Where do you have these tattoos?" When I decided I wanted to get a tattoo, my first one, I basically used to draw the tattoo in the placement for about 1.5 years, and finally when I turned 18, even though I was 18, I didn't ask my mom for permission. Oops. And I went to the flea market, not where I recommend for you to get your tattoos, but I went to the flea market and I got a music note on my wrist. It represented a lot for me because I grew up dancing, I used to play instruments, and music was just in my family a lot, in my life. And it was kind of like a promise for me that I was gonna always have music somehow in my life, which is funny because the company I was a part of for 7 years was a music company, and I've always been in the music industry somehow and helping creatives. So somehow I kind of stuck with that. The other tattoos that I have, they all have meaning, but I've always thought about, I have like a rule. I have to think about it for more than 6 months before I actually get something, and they're all single needle. Single needle is a fun fact number 3, I guess you can say. Single needle tattoos is when the tattoo gun has 1 needle inside of it. A regular tattoo gun has 8 needles, which is what makes it look a little bit thicker. And all of mine, besides my first one, are single needle. Because since I do model, I knew that I had to look a little bit where, one, the placement had to be where I could hide it, and secondly, I wanted it to look classy, you know? I didn't want it to take away from my look. I wanted to be able to hide it. And I recently was at a shoot, a clothing shoot, and the model had a really big back tattoo, and she, in none of her pictures did the tattoo show, so they booked her. And when they had to put the makeup on her, when she would be removing the clothes that we were shooting in, she was staining all the clothes, and it was just something that was really making the client mad. And I was just like, oh man, that's literally the reason why I tried to avoid that. In the smaller corners of the crease right now, I'm using Drip, and I'm using Sting, and I'm using the brush that it comes with. I'm just dipping it in and creating like a small V in the corner to give it some sort of dimension, but not overpowering for daytime look. If you guys want to know what my tattoos are, I guess because we're already here, let's just talk about it. My tattoos, music note here, which is a regular tattoo gun. Then I have here Philippians 4:13, which is a verse in the Bible. Then I have back of my neck, I have a tattoo which is a name in cursive, which is the nickname that my dad, who passed away, used to call me. And then under it is Roman numerals, which is actually, he's actually my stepdad. but I call him my real dad because he raised me, so he is my dad. And it's the year that he started raising me and that I called him dad. So that's very special to me. And then so 1, 2, 3, I have a heart here to remind myself to love myself because sometimes I forget. And a small E here for my little sister Emily, and it's in lowercase, single needle because she's little. She's my little sister. Okay, so next I am gonna go with the Il Maquillage. It's like a nude pencil and I use it in my waterline. I don't really like using brown or darker colors. When I was in high school I used to love it, but it just makes my eyes look smaller. I'm always tired, so if I can look more awake, I'm doing that. And this helps. It brightens up your eyes, it opens them up, you know. I'm gonna go in with my concealer. I'm mixing 30 neutral and 40 neutral of Urban Decay. It's the Stay Naked concealers. A little goes a long way with these guys. I don't know what random fact number I was on, but another random fact is that I used to put glitter all over my face thinking that it was attractive, and I probably looked like a walking disco ball, but thankfully I have learned and I don't do that anymore. Okay, so for right now I look like I'm in a tribe about to go into a fight or something, and what we are doing is we are brightening our face in all the points that the light is gonna hit, and then we're gonna darken it to create depth in other areas. For the contour, I usually use the darkest color in Urban Decay, but I ran out of it, so I am using the Laura Mercier 5N in the Ultra Flawless Concealer. Now that we've done the creams, I'm using the Frankie Rose Cosmetics Contour Palette, and I like mixing Whisper and Heated, I think it's called. It's like the darkest ones. And I just go over wherever I did the dark contour, just kind of to amplify it. A little on the forehead. I try not to do too much on my forehead because it's obviously gonna like make your forehead smaller if you contour your forehead, and my forehead's a pretty normal size, so I don't really need that. I do put it here. Then I go into highlight. I'm gonna go in all my high points under my eyebrow real quick. Mind you, this is like a day look. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just fun, playful, cute. I went to class with Mario Badescu and Laura Mercier like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and he said that his trick for highlighting was when you highlight your forehead, you want highlight to hit a part of your face. That's why you don't highlight your whole cheek, you highlight the highest points. So he was like, if you highlight your left side, only highlight your left side in a streak, so that when you turn and the light hits it, it looks natural. I was like, you're smart. And since then, I've always done that. So I think my biggest compliment, random fact number 6, my most random compliment that I've ever gotten was at a gas station. I was putting gas and a woman came up to me and was like, who does your makeup, or what do you use, because I can tell you have makeup on, but it looks so natural and it looks so pretty. And I was like, that's the best compliment I've ever gotten. So I think that's always with every look that I have. My friend Maureen sometimes wants to do my makeup for like her YouTube or for her Instagram, and she'll be like, all right, so what do I have to do for you to be okay with this look, if it's like a dramatic eye or anything like that, because I'm all about just like the glowy J-Lo type of natural looks. It's just what I'm more comfortable with. So yeah, fact number 7, while I try to do a smudgy eyeliner. My little sister is not my only sibling. I have 6, I think, or 5 stepsisters from my dad's side, which a lot of people don't know. And around 4 years ago, for the first time, I met one of them. She was living in China with her boyfriend, or her husband at the time, and she was stopping in LA to go to Guatemala because her mom's from Guatemala, but they grew up in Venezuela. And she was like, hey, well, actually, I actually have this story in my blog, but I hit her up once because my mom had told me like, hey, you know, like, this is a sister of yours, you should really try to get to know her. She's like 9-10 months older than you. she was like, you should really try to get to know her. Like, it'd be really cool if you guys became friends. So I Facebook messaged her and I was like, hi. I was like, I don't know if this is weird, but I'm your sister. Talk about icebreaker. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm your sister, you know, so-and-so's daughter. And nor her or I really have a relationship with our biological father. So she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, did you know that you have other sisters? And she was like, yeah, I knew, but I mean, I didn't like really know where they were. It's like, well, hello, I'm one of them. A year and a half later is when she came over and she made a stop in LA, and I went with her to an Asian restaurant. We met, and it was crazy because the guy I was dating at the time came with me because I didn't want to go alone, and her husband was with her, and they would just stare at us and be quiet. It was the funniest thing. And we would be like, why are you guys quiet, just staring at us? And they were like, well, because you guys don't realize it, but your mannerisms are identical. And I was like, really? And they were like, yeah, it's crazy because you guys didn't grow up together or anything like that, but your mannerisms are the same. It's so creepy. So since then, every time she comes to LA, we always see each other and hang out. She now has a cute little daughter, and she went back to live in Guatemala because their business like just flourishes over there. I feel like she's more of like a cool friend, but you know, I care about her a lot, and I'm glad she's in my life, and that's a cool little thing that if you haven't read my blog, then you wouldn't know that. But especially because it was like 3 years ago that I wrote it. I am setting my face now with Laura Mercier setting powder. I'm not really a fan of baking, to be honest. I'm more of a fan of placing and removing. Fun fact number 8, I guess not many people know. I grew up dancing. I kind of said it when I was talking about the tattoos. But yeah, I grew up dancing, contemporary, jazz, very little hip hop, and belly dancing. And it was a passion of mine for many, many years. I don't do it anymore. I haven't done it in forever. So when it comes to lip liners, everybody's like, how do you line your lips? What are you using for your lips? Your lips look really big. This is how my lips are starting, and you'll see how they end. It's like a process and layers. The first thing I'm using right now is the Natural Moisturizing Lip Liner Velvet Pink from Il Makiage. So I'm overlining right where my lip ends and extending it. I love using fake jewelry and making them last, and my little trick is whenever I buy it from Forever 21 or H&M or any of these online stores, what I do is I get home, I take off all the tags, I put them out on the table, and I get my clear nail polish and I coat them all with clear nail polish. Now what this does is that if you want to wash your hands, if you sweat, whatever it is, whether you want to use it for a cute outfit or whatever, it never turns green. So a lot of people don't know about that, and I always use it. So that's a little random fun fact and I guess like DIY trick. So now that I did that with my lips, I'm gonna go over with Natural Lips from Laura Mercier, and it's basically I'm gonna do the same thing but a little bit lower than the last one. And fun fact number 9, when I was a teenager, I really wanted to dye my hair like this color. It's always been my dream color, and I always have it now as an adult. And my mom was like, no, I really wanted to look like Britney Spears in the Sometimes music video. It was like a light brown, and I went to my friend's house, Oreo. I'll never forget this. And I went and I bought a box at CVS in Kendall in 107th and 88th. And I went home, I went to her house, and I was like, all right, it says a strawberry blonde, I think it'll work. I did it. But what I didn't understand is that if you've never dyed your hair, you can't go lighter without bleach. So I did it, and it only caught on to my roots. So I literally had orange down my, like, it was really bad. So I went home, and my mom was like, what did you do? And then the next day she took me to Peter London to fix it, and I got highlights and a haircut. And since then I've basically been every shade of blonde besides platinum since the age of 16. And now we're gonna go to where the first line was, and I'm just gonna accent it one last time. But now, this one, I'm gonna bring in to the corners like this, and like this. I'm gonna make a line down the middle, basically contouring your lip. And then I'm gonna do the same here. I'm gonna go over it with a lip gloss. I'm not gonna smoothen it or anything. It's gonna do it on its own. And I'm doing this. And now my lips look instantly a lot plumpier. So now that we did that, I never did blush. So I'm gonna go back with blush. And I'm just using Video and Urban Decay. And then I shake my all-nighter spray from Urban Decay. I let it set. While that's happening, I grab my mascara and I do my lower lash line. The reason why I wait for after I set my makeup is because I noticed that I have really long lashes. So when I do this before setting my makeup, it always bleeds until like the bottom of my eyes. But when I do it after I set it, it doesn't happen. And then last but not least, I'm gonna go in with Sting and Drip and just go back in the bottom of my lash line to create a soft, smoky look. That's it. I hope you guys love this look. If you did, make sure to comment, subscribe, and continue watching for all the other episodes to come. Also, make sure to look at the description down below, as the link to the podcast of Greta and I would be there, where we talk about so many things. It's something that you definitely don't want to miss, so make sure to stay tuned.